Go to reparationsnowdoc.com. That's reparationsnowdoc.com. Also, check out the 2024 Reparations Manifestations Planner, available at Amazon. And while you're at Amazon, hit that affiliate link. It's free and helps to support what we're doing. As always, appreciate the support and thank you. Please like, share, and subscribe.
Amend the Mass Media Group is California Capital's premier YouTube channel focused on reparations, dedicated to political advocacy and apologetically aimed at shining a spotlight on our righteous justice claim for reparations.
We'll probably talk about some other things, but for those who don't know, you give the people a brief idea who you are, kind of where you're from, and where your family's from.
Sure. I'm Emanuel Smith. Grew up in the Bay, a Bay Area homegrown guy. My mother was the first black woman doctor at Stanford, Dr. Betty Jo Smith. She wrote a book called First Knife. My father was a military hero, served faithfully in the armed forces. And they made their way here. My mother by way of Florida, my father by way of Arkansas. My triple great grandfather actually got on the boat to Liberia. So we have land in Liberia. I walked Liberia alone with nothing but a backpack and a passport. I thank you for, I want to actually intervene and say, I want to thank Brother Moye and ETM Media for taking this time to have me in and giving me the opportunity to tell my story. They're one of the only people who really were interested in the story, and they are the new black media as far as I'm concerned. And yeah, my family, we came here and to a little city called Menlo Park. Bought a little house there. Weren't supposed to have it at 14% interest. The property has exponentially exploded to the point where now there's about $3.2 million in equity in the house, and there's even more if you do the building on the lots. And right now the city is basically trying to seize it. You know, they've moved my mother out of the house, and now they're trying to seize the house. So it's theft, and they threw this at me right as I'm about to go to trial. As you know, they've delayed it over and over and over again. And now they throw this at me too. So, but my civil lawyers are actually doing some of their job, and I think we'll pull through in the end.
All right. So, do you want to give us some updates in terms of the upcoming hearing that's coming up?
Upcoming hearing will be a little bit less than a week. Next Tuesday, I believe, is the day, January 30th, 2024. And they'll delay it again on this one. They've already told me that. And so from there, we'll go to set a trial date of April 12th. And that should be when all the, all the marbles hit the ground. And so we're looking at an April 12th trial date, picking juries and things like that, unless they happen to drop this thing. Supposedly the judge is supposed to look at this on the 30th, is supposed to look at it with a lot more scrutiny. As you know, I sent you some camera footage of that they redacted. They actually destroyed evidence of the cameras, and all of a sudden there's actually no cameras. Now, I think we went through this if it was Jussie Smollett's situation, and I was being untruthful about exactly what happened, there'd be a camera everywhere. There'd be a camera walking me down the street when I walk to the gas station. There'd be the freeway camera that's right there off of Highway 92. And they have satellite imaging if they really wanted to get technical. Plus the officers should have cameras, and every CHP officer has what is called an MVARS in their car, and it constantly records. But some reason this one happened to be broken that day. And there were three actual police cars out there that were facing me, could see the whole thing. And so 3 cameras technically weren't working that day, or we just didn't get footage from them. And as I told you, and like the video I sent you, that was destruction of evidence. They redacted footage and sent me a blank tape with only the last 3 minutes and 24 seconds on it. If you got the last 3 minutes and 24 seconds, you have all of it.
All right. So this upcoming, after you guys get done the hearing and hopefully the trial will start, is there going to be a jury, or is it just going to be a judge that's going to be overseeing your trial?
That's a good question. I believe that I'm going to be looking for a jury. One great thing about the California Reparations Task Force is that the governor signed an executive order to start that task force, indicating in that executive order that my peer group is the descendants of slavery. So we will be fighting very hard to get an all jury of descendants of slavery. And if I get that, I mean, it's an easy win. With people that might not understand my struggle, or understand what black people face in America, they might not see it the same way. And then there's the other thing about that, which is, a lot of these juries, we operate on a system of vulture capitalism right now. And so a lot of these jurors are happy to see me go, so they can move right into my home and just take it and take that wealth that we've created for themselves. In fact, I may not have brought this up at the beginning, but this whole situation seems like a situation where they're gentrifying me out of the community, and this officer with his pension that's paid for by the taxpayers of California can just move right in. And so, it might not happen exactly that way, but they definitely set the floor and the ball rolling for a transition like that to happen.
Okay. So you did mention the jury of your peers.
Yes, sir.
Do you think, okay, let me go back. So so let me go back, because I'm trying to phrase this. In particular, they have this new data disaggregation called SB 189, where state employees can voluntarily say who they are. And actually, it has on there where you can describe yourself as, a person of U.S. chattel slavery, which is huge, right?
Yes.
So I just wanted to mention that. And just going off of that, though, like, let's say Plan B, right? That
Talk to me.
You aren't able to have, the descendants of the slaves as your peer group.
It's executive order. That's the governor's executive order. So we're definitely going to fight. I don't believe this case will be tried like anyone in the past, because I won't settle for that.
So my question is that if that doesn't happen, then obviously, you're not the lawyer, right? In this, I'm
definitely
speaking to you, but
I definitely may have to take this myself, and we are prepared for that too. So we are studying. We're in the law library, but ultimately and I didn't mean to cut you off.
No,
so I hope you don't.
Yeah. I think you know what the question I'm going to in terms of the Plan B. If for some reason, your peer group doesn't get. You don't have the people on there that you see. Like,
to be fair, I don't think any jury could convict on this with no cameras. First off, I'm innocent until proven guilty. You got no cameras. So what are you talking about? Well, you have no proof of anything without a camera. And you say I did whatever I did, or I was suicidal, or, this how I was going to die today and all that. But if you don't have it on camera, you're just talking. You're just telling a story. And like I said, a lot of this stuff doesn't match up as far as the officer's initial police report. And it was a DUI report. I was supposed to be on methamphetamine. You saw the toxicology report, clean as a whistle, came back. And so I would say the one right that I have in America as a citizen, and that's the one thing that I'll tell you that I love about this country. We talked about this earlier in Liberia and how I could spend $1 one American dollar is going to give me 200 Liberian dollars, and how I want to build things and railroads and transportation systems and things, schools and things like that. But bigger than that, though, is that in America, there's one right I have, and that is the right to talk to 12 citizens. Now, those 12 citizens happen to be the lowest paid people in the courthouse, $50 a day.
Facts. Can't
do anything with that. And I plan to alleviate on that. And I plan to, let the people know that, everybody in this courtroom is getting paid. And they're asking you to come away from your job and decide the fate of a man's life for $50 a day. But what makes it more important than that is my opportunity to speak with those people is my only real right in America. And I think I can resonate with the people that this was a totally unjustified thing, that, no one could imagine running out of gas and being accosted. And especially in broad daylight, because I was thinking about that the other day. Someone asked me, this happened at night? And I said, no, it's in broad daylight. And that's probably the reason I went down there. If it would have been night, I probably wouldn't have even gone back to the car. But at what point does a citizen say, okay, I need my $2,000, $3,000. I need that. I can't just go give the tow yard $3,000 to get my car out when it's right here. And I've done nothing wrong. There's nothing in the car. There's no weapons in the car. There's no guns in the car. There's no drugs in the car. There's nothing but some Black Panther comics that were stolen from me. It was highway robbery. And so I think I can explain this to any jury reasonably. Now, as far as legalese and the Latin verbiage that I'm going to need, that's tough. And we're studying that. And we're learning that. But we feel good about talking to any 12 jurors, whether they be white or whatever, or Chinese, Indian, Asian, whatever. We feel good about that because, listen, they'll tell you their side of the story, and that's okay. But the truth is, I'm the guy that ran in a house to save a woman from a burning building and got her out of there. And that can be verified by the Menlo Park Police Department. I'm the guy who shut down 880 for a young Asian guy who had crashed on his motorcycle and made sure he got off to the side to safety. So if you're out there, I need you to step up and come up and tell the people what kind of guy I am. The Range Rover I was driving was I bought it from a guy named Charles Yun. If you know who he was the first person that went on Shark Tank and had all 5 sharks invest in his product. And I want you to look that up, Charles Yun. So that's who I bought the Range Rover from. So I'm not just out here doing anything. I'm out here trying to make big moves and make waves in society that are going to help enrich our culture and our people. And, I've already gone into Black cohesion with you as far as 50 million of us here in America times 5 equals $250 million a month. That's 200 new black millionaires a month. That's 2,400 new Black millionaires a year, and that's more than America makes between the ages of 18 and 27. On top of that, we also have another 50 million left over to pay you or the people who contract those who gather those contracts, the extra $50 million. And, we're working through a corporation which will live on long after I'm gone. And so, half of me feels like that's what this is really about, stopping that, because that movement is, it's over. Once we were just talking about what has NCOBRA done and NARC and the NAACP, and we both agree basically nothing. But a real plan to set out, $1 million. You're not going to give it to them all at once. You're going to give them $300,000 up front. You're going to give the parents $100,000. You're going to put another $100,000 in a certificate of deposit that's going to repay that forever. So you'll never have that person ever have to pay the $5 a month again. And then you also have $500,000 just in case they blow that 300,000. They can come get that in 3 to 5 years. Or if they need capital, they can take from it. And so that is our own way of economies of scale, economizing the way that we can do business amongst each other and keep money in our own community. And so I think that's the real threat. Locking me away in a cage isn't going to stop that. In fact, if that's what God wants from me, then maybe those are the brothers that I need to go talk to first, because the brothers that are only making 13 cents a day, if they're willing to put their money behind it, everybody should be able to put their money behind it. And so, like I said, 13 cents a day, $5 a month, that's the way out. Black cohesion.
Yeah, and just to kind of elaborate, and I think in addition to that, one of the, I don't know if it's the elephant in the room with America, but I think that's one reason, and reparations is owed.
Reparations is owed.
That, the dominant society or America in general doesn't want to, give descendants
power.
Yeah, power.
Power.
That's what it really gets down to, because they know that if we were able to not only close this wealth gap, but we were able to, circulate the dollars within us, we would be so powerful.
Well, with the situation with my house, man, I tell you, I just had to write the district attorney the other day and let him know that, California talks a lot about closing the wealth gap, but you're trying to increase the wealth gap by
facts. Say that one more time, bro.
You are trying to increase the wealth gap.
Facts.
And so for me, it's more about, if they're not going to pay reparations for this case, they're going to erase the tapes. They're going to do everything to try to put the system in my way and break me, instead of being a county in a state that wants to help me succeed and create and invent and do better things so I can add to society. Well, then I don't see how the people that are watching this show can say they're going to give me reparations for something that happened 200-300 years ago. Everybody needs to be standing with this case, because this case is about repair. They maimed me for life for running out of gas, period, point blank. And if they can show you anything other than that, I'll take my ball and go home, because there's no reason to lie. There's no reason to fabricate anything. The cameras are there. They should have them, but all of a sudden they don't. And so if you can drag a man across hot coals, if you can roll a tarp back so he has to be exposed to those hot coals, if it's safer for me after being forced onto the freeway to make it across 7 lanes of the freeway unscathed, stop a Mack truck with my bare hand, than to deal with these officers, that is a major problem in society. And that's how I want every person to really look at this as if that were your son out there, and because we really don't usually make it through these things. I told Brother Moy, I don't know how I made it, but by the grace of God. Honestly, I don't know. But what I do know is that when it was all said and done, these men had taken off half of my leg, tried to castrate me, and took me to a facility where they locked me down for 3 days, no phone calls, no lawyers, tried to 5150 me. That didn't work. And so I've got to fight this for every kid out there, or every Trayvon Martin, every George Floyd, every Ahmaud Arbery, every Corinne Gaines that didn't live through this, that didn't make it through this, every Freddie Gray. Shout out to my people in BMO.
Shout out.
And Chicago. But this is happening everywhere. And I mean, bringing that up, I remember me and you were supposed to talk about that guy that got tased in the back in Atlanta. Mm-hmm. And that and for the people watching, my case is that case because they're training these officers now not to tase you in the chest anymore, to tase you in the back and hold that taser on you. And then it's going through your limbic system to your brain and your spinal cord. And you can't do anything but what that guy did, which was reach and grab for the wire. He wasn't going after the policeman. He was trying to get the wire out of his back. And now the policeman has a reason to shoot him. And I'm not saying the guy acted greatly, but once you're hit with that taser, I know. Once you get hit with that taser, and the taser manual tells you, once you get hit with that taser, all stuff is out of the window. You are no longer in your clear mind. Your words are going to be gibberish. And honestly, you're supposed to faint. And they're not supposed to hit you in the heart because your heart is being arrhythmiaed during that state because you just had a voltage going through you. Your brain isn't functioning right. And they expect that man to sit there, take a taser in the back and just hold it on his back. Just hold it there. You know, count 1, 2, 3. And 3 seconds is an eternity when you got electricity going through your body. And so I feel for that man. And you know, he had just won a settlement, got his new truck, and I bet he wanted to do some things. But I tell you what, I bet you he wishes he would have got to Liberia. I mean, at this point, give me a reason to stay in America. What is the good reason for us to be here? Other than family, of course, you know, but family can move, family can come. And I just know that, you know, when I build what I build, I want people to come and see it, come to be a part of it, and really find a place where they can find some peace, because this isn't it. This isn't it right here, right now.
All right, man. So I know we want to get out of here shortly because we could be here all day.
We damn sure could. I always love talking to you, man. So
we could be here all day. So let me see if I can drop 1 or 2 questions for you, bro.
Yes, sir.
Let's talk about Liberia.
Let's talk about it.
All right. So do you want to give the family a little brief history on Liberia and descendants relationship, and then talk about the citizenry in terms of being a dual citizen with Liberia and America?
First off, Liberia is a wonderful place. You know, don't let them tell you, because before I went, I looked online. There's this white lady gave me this movie called "Pray the Devil Back to Hell." You guys should watch that, actually, if you would like. It's really it's like what do you call those stuff? 70s flicks that they had.
Blaxploitation?
Yeah, it's definitely a blaxploitation type event. What they call the Liberian savages. You can go to some U.S. State Department websites where they'll say the people actually try to eat you and stuff like that. None of that happened to me in Liberia. In fact, the people were great. I stayed house to house with people. They try to give you a $400 hotel, but I mean, if you go to a Liberian family and you give them $40 for the week, it can feed a Liberian family. And so I did that a number of times. I actually made some really good connections with some people like the Kingstons and Rosie Flower in Monrovia, Big Richie in Monrovia, E-Man down in Plebo in Maryland County. There's Thomas, and there's so many. Francis, who actually speaks French and English. You would never believe it. It does radio podcasts in French and English out there. So they're very talented, very smart. And I've been down to Tubman University, named after Harriet Tubman, and the only Tubman University, as far as I know, on the planet. But Liberia, and I went to the top of the lighthouse. That was a great view. But as far as Liberia's founding, it was founded in 1862 by the American Colonization Society. And to make a long story short, you are a citizen. If you are a descendant of slavery, you are a citizen. So I believe that actually we were citizens of Liberia before we were citizens of America. because Liberia claimed all descendants of slavery as their citizens long before the U.S. made us citizens here. Now, I do need to get more in depth on research on that, but like I said, I had a trial hanging over my head, and a multi-million-dollar property I'm not trying to lose. And so right now I got to be in the thick of what's here right now. What was your other part of the question about Liberia?
Oh, yeah. I mean, you pretty much did the history. The only other question that I want to ask is, there's been some contention, or at least some questioning of when, descendants actually went back to Liberia. There was a conflict. Yes. Do you want to kind of talk about the so-called conflict?
Sure, I will. The truth of the story is when you go to Liberia, you can walk on the beach. They still have the statues of us shaking the Liberian's hand diplomatically in suits and ties, or the old little wig things that we used to wear back in the day. Point being is that we came together. The white man, the slave masters, they wanted us to go out there and enslave the Liberian. And we said,
and just
go ahead.
Just real quick before you go into it.
Yes,
sir. This was before 1865, correct?
Yes, this was before 1865. This was in 1862ish to 1863 was when we first started. The American Conservation Society started implementing this plan. And I think it was Thaddeus Stevens. You need to check me on that, but I think it was Thaddeus Stevens. And I got love for Thaddeus Stevens, a white man. Because he had a real plan. And as far as I'm concerned, the black people in that time, the politicals, like we talked about earlier, we own the Republican Party. That's our party, and now we have one black person in there, Tim Scott, who the white people in the party call Uncle Tom Scott, so mimicking the guy. But we own that with Booker T. Washington, and so we have a rich history of political movements. But I say those people that got on the boats are the smartest of us. They were, because they knew 400 years later this would still be going on. They knew it wasn't any reasoning with these people, and they went to another place. Now, even though they're not sanctioned, they're sanctioned, because when the white man came in there and told us that we gotta, the lighter skinned blacks from here had to enslave the darker skinned blacks from there, we weren't with it. We just came out of slavery. We ain't doing that to nobody else, man. So listen, y'all gotta go. And we, the American blacks and the Liberian blacks, came together and told the American white men, y'all got to get the hell out of here and don't come back. And that's why we're sanctioned. And that's why, to this day, Liberia is the only place in Africa you're going to find a name like Smith, Jones, Woods, Harris. It's the only place in Africa where you'll find those names. You can go find your ancestors' land. In fact, go to the books of Congress and see if your ancestors jumped on that boat, because if they did, you have land there and you can claim it.
So just real quick.
Yes, sir.
So there was supposedly, and I need to do my further research on this too. But
I do want to make one more point though. But
yes,
you
sir.
Go ahead. No,
go ahead and make your point.
After you, because I think it comes into what you're saying.
Okay. So there was a conflict. Black people who went back to the continent, and those so-called indigenous people that supposedly, because I know you mentioned,
Now it's really called the Pepper Coast. The Pepper Coast, if you want to know.
The Pepper Coast. Okay. Yeah. So if we're calling it the Pepper Coast, then the blacks that went back to the Pepper Coast, right?
Yes.
With the family back then, that there was a conflict there, right? What happened, or did anything happen at that particular time? Because you mentioned they got together, but there wasn't any conflict.
There was no conflict between us and them, as far as I know. And I'm telling you, I walked the grounds there, man. And I'm telling you, if you go to Liberia today, they love Americans, especially black Americans. But the point, what I was trying to explain to you is that the point I wanted to make, and it does come into your point, like I said, because no white person can buy land in Liberia. Do you know how valuable that makes that land? That means Bill Gates, his money is worthless there. But your money has value there. Now our money spends American dollar spends 200, it's worth 200 Liberian dollars. Now at the present time, it might be 175, it might be 150, it fluctuates. Okay, but the point of the matter is that if I get 100 Liberian dollars, if I get 100 Liberian dollars from my $1, that means I got $1 million here, I got 100 million there. And it's virtually impossible to go broke with $100 million. You can build anything you need with $100 million. And so infrastructure and jobs. But like I said, the main thing is that your money, Emanuel, has value there. Bill Gates' money has nothing. Klaus Schwab's money has nothing. You know, not even Donald Trump's money, Joe Biden's money. Their money means nothing there. And, you know, shout out to Sirleaf Johnson, the first black woman president of Liberia. My mother's a Johnson as well, so we claim that too. And but we love Sirleaf Johnson, and we appreciate Sirleaf Johnson. We love Charles Taylor as well. So we don't take sides in any of that. But we have a wonderful, rich history that stretches from Liberia. And what I'm telling you is that if you want to do anything, America didn't start with America. America started with Rome in Italy, one city. And that's all we need. We need one place to call our own, where we can do business, where we're not bothered, and where people can't just come in willy-nilly and do whatever the hell they want to us. And once you get that, we can get rid of the sanctions on our own, because we are still American. We're not getting rid of our passports now. So we're still American. We can get the products that they can't, and those people out there want those products. Now you got a business. Now you got an import-export business. Okay, so now all these people, you know, you go shop with the Arabs. Now the Arabs have a pipeline to get them a product here. Where is our pipeline? We could have Liberians, if it was up to me, and that's why I say Manny Smith for governor, because all this Chinese products that aren't coming through anymore, and war in the Middle East and Israel, and what if we sent $100 billion to Liberia? Why don't we send money to people that get along with their neighbors? What could we build with that? That's the point I'm trying to make. And I think that takes us to the next level of inventions and creativity. And that's what I want to see for my black people. And before we can have anything, we need a place where anything you start in America, they can run up in. They can just run in there and make whatever reason they want to later, and then you got to fight that. But once you go get on another continent, in another country, and do your business there, you make that your business headquarters. You can't just run in that without getting international pressure. Now we can work. Now we can sit down and talk amongst ourselves. And so what I am suggesting is a tactical retreat. A tactical retreat. You know, like the old folks have a retreat or a vacation. But ours should be tactical. And when we make that tactical retreat, we all sit down at the round table and we talk. And we say, listen, what do we want to accomplish? How can we do this? And that's another thing, Emanuel. I don't want to ramble on, but I do want to say this, because I don't want people going into Liberia just going, I got land here, I'm going to claim it. No, we got to have ourselves an Ellis Island situation. And for the Liberians, when I went there, I told a lot of the young ladies and a lot of the young men, first thing they need to do is become therapists and mental health people who can assert that mental health rights and can take in patients, because we have a lot of trauma out here. We go through a lot out here, and we don't get justice, and we really have a lot of trauma. And so that's going to be the first thing that's going to meet. We can't run in there willy-nilly. I'll tell you an interesting story. The Liberian banks, there's no glass, there's no bulletproof stuff in front of them like the banks in Oakland and Sacramento. And I tell you, my first thought, I'm going to tell you, man, I should rob this damn thing. And it wasn't like I was going to do it. It was just, I came from America, and I brought that mentality with me. And it was sickening to me. I let it go, right? It was sickening to me, Moy. It was sickening. And I said, that came from America. that's where bank robbery is to be glorified, and robbing your brother, and and shooting up places. And I got off that plane, Umoye, with a backpack and a passport, nothing else. Backpack and a passport. Had my laptop and backpack, all my stuff. Got a ride from two guys, didn't know me, and into the city. And actually, Rosie Flower was Kingston's daughter, and she took me up to the school, and that's the first place where I met Isaiah. I had my clippers because my great granddaddy was a barber, and he always told me, take your clippers because you can always give somebody a free haircut and get a chance to talk to them and feel out the people. So I did that. Gave Isaiah his first haircut, and it was just marvelous, man. It's a marvelous place with marvelous people that I had to tell them, no, Umoye, and now it broke my heart. I had to tell them, if you ever come to America, if you ever come to Baltimore, Chicago, Oakland, any of these places, do not do what I did, because you're going to end up stripped, butt naked, with none of your stuff. None of your stuff. And so that's the mentality and place we come from, where we had to be tough, we had to scrape, we had to get it for get it out the mud, as we say here. But it's just a better life, man. It's more than this. It's more than what they're trying to hold us down into. It's way more. The world is a big place where they love us and respect us. And I tell you, it's a young lady in Liberia named Fatima. And just in case you end up watching this, Fatima, you told me when I came down, you said, don't forget about me. And I told you, I'm here. You said, the Americans, you guys forgot about us. I said, I'm here, Fatima. And I haven't forgot about you, and I still haven't forgot about you to that day. And I don't believe American blacks have forgot about you. It's just we are in our own struggle right here, and we're trying to get out of it. But you can rest assured that you're going to see a lot of us in the future, and that we love you.
All right, man. Last question, a little lighthearted question. So let's talk about Cat Williams.
Cat gave him business, did he?
2-3 minutes because we almost running out of tape here.
Sounds good.
Cat Williams, what did you think about his interview on our good brother
Shannon Sharp?
Shannon Sharp, yeah. Shay.
Hey, man, he let him know. It's like you said earlier. Sometimes you just don't want to hold your tongue. And, I'll give you credit where credit is due, because you were the one that said that. But he just let him know. He gave a rundown of the industry. And we all knew it. He just said what everybody else was thinking. But I know you said we're running out of tape, so I don't want to take your shine away from this, because I really enjoyed. If you haven't watched Umoye's presentation on the Cat Williams thing, he's already got a YouTube video posted on it, and it's very good. It's very good work. And you maybe want to elaborate on that before we run out of tape, just so they'll know.
Just real quick. I mean, we just did a little short, I think 1 or 2 shorts, how we compared Cat Williams with Steve Harvey, and Steve Harvey's talking about, we got to forget about slavery, and Cat Williams was like, what's up? We need these reparations. So that's basically it. Yeah,
Believe
for real.
And then you did another one with another young lady. Like I said, Umoye has been coming out the gate fast this year and heavy, and I really appreciate him. What was the other young lady's name?
Oh man, I'm trying to remember her name.
I don't know how I forgot her
Sykes.
name. Yeah, Wanda Sykes. Wanda Sykes did another one, and that was good too. Yeah,
Wanda Sykes is going in.
Well, I just want to thank you guys for listening to me, and I want to thank Umoye, ETM Media, and Kim for having me on once again. We're gonna fight this. We're gonna win this. But to God be the glory, and by the grace of God, I'm here for a reason, or I'd have been gone that day. So we're gonna fight this. We're gonna win. But listen, guys, you need to stand behind this case. If they're not going to give reparations on something that happened right here in this day and age, it's going to be tough to get them for something that happened 200-300 years ago. So stand on this case. We're suing them for a big amount of money. I don't even want to put the figure up there, because some of you will think it's just fictional, but it's over $1 billion. So we are suing the mess out of them, and it's a retaliatory charges that they put on me. And we're going to come out on top in the end. And I want to thank you guys for listening. I hope you're there on January 30th. I definitely hope you're there. showing up and showing out on April 12th, because that's going to be the real deal. And I know Umoye is going to be there. He's been with me the whole way, man. And I cannot give enough gratitude to ETM Media for shining a light on this. I cannot. But once we win this lawsuit, it's going to be a whole new ETM Media studio. I know that much.
All right, brother. As always, we appreciate you. Out. Peace and reparations, family.
Peace and reparations, brother. Thank you.